Hi, everyone. My name is Stephen Hahn, and I work in the legal department at Google. Super excited to be here. This is one, if not the most exciting project here at Google. It's been a real pleasure to work with Paul's team. Having said that, I realize that we are minutes away from the happy hour, so my presentation will be extremely brief. I just had two quick goals in this session. One, to describe the licensing philosophy behind Project ARA, and two, just briefly walk through the key components of the license agreement. No presentation given by a lawyer would be complete without a disclaimer. And here it is. The information presented today is not provided in the course of and does not create or constitute an attorney-client relationship, and is not intended to convey or constitute legal advice. Please refer to the MDK license agreement text available at projectara.com. To state the painfully obvious, I am not your lawyer. I'm Google's lawyer, but we're all working together. Project ARA is built on a permissive licensing regime to foster a hardware ecosystem to drive innovation and deliver the mobile internet to the next 5 billion people. It's free and accessible to all developers and informed by the Android multi-sided platform model. You know, there are really two goals. The first goal was, the initial goal is get as many great developers into this system as possible. But we have to balance that with creating a governance structure to drive quality interactions in the ecosystem. And the way we sought to achieve this is through the MDK license agreement. There are really two key buckets to the license agreement. There's one, that Google's grant to developers, the IP grant that Google grants to you guys. And two, what I call the rules of the road for the ecosystem. First, Google's grant to developers. There are two distinct licenses in the license agreement, actually. First, there's the development and testing license, and that's very simple. You get a worldwide royalty-free license under Google's IP in the MDK and the related tech to develop and test modules, full stop. And what's really powerful about the MDK license agreement is that you also get from day one a commercialization license. You receive a license to sell and distribute your modules based on the MDK. So first I want to talk about, the key, now the keys, what I call the 4 key rules of the road. All right. First, no fragmentation. What do we mean by no fragmentation? It seems vague. What we mean is that if you sign up for the MDK, you will agree not to take the MDK, take Project ARA, modify it / duplicate it, and then create your own Project ARA called Project Kickass. You know, that's what we don't want you to do. If you want to come with us within Project ARA, we'd like you to work within the ecosystem. If you commercialize meaning if you start selling or distributing modules based on the MDK, there are a couple of other key rules of the road that we're asking everyone to sign up to. First, the injunction ban against other developers. Here, it sounds a bit technical, but all it means is, let's say you are a module developer and you create, I know Paul has given this example, you create the incense burner module. And let's say there's another Mr. Naughty developer out there who creates another incense burner module. And you believe that Mr. Naughty module developer has infringed your IP on the incense burner. Well, what we're asking is that it's your prerogative to go sue Mr. Naughty module developer and get damages for yourself. We're just asking that you don't get an injunction against that developer, because that will freeze the ecosystem. Second, license suspension. This one is this is simple. License suspension for IP claims against Project ARA. If you sue us for an IP claim based on Project ARA or the MDK, we may suspend our license to you. And finally, a limited license back to Google for interoperability. What we mean there is you may have IP that reads on the MDK or the endoskeleton or interoperability of modules and the endoskeleton. If you use our MDK to commercialize your modules, then you're granting a license to us for that IP. I mean, to be clear, you are not granting us IP, any IP in the modules themselves. Of course, that is yours. But we want what is really a license grant back for any IP that you may have that reads on the MDK, the endoskeleton, or interoperability. And so that's it. Those are the key rules of the road. Developer responsibilities. Really, I see you have three. One, user privacy. Obviously, please take it seriously. If you develop modules for end users and users provide you with personal information, you must provide privacy notice and comply with all the privacy requirements that you'd have to, irrespective of Project ARA. And if your modules store personal information, you've got to store that information securely. Second, your use of third-party resources. You should just be aware that third-party resources or applications that you use to develop your modules might be subject to some other third party's IP rights. The MDK license agreement doesn't address that relationship that you might have with that third-party resource or application provider. It's up to you. And finally, indemnification. When you sign up with us and decide to use the MDK and commercialize, you are indemnifying Google for your use of the MDK and any IP claims on your modules. All right? Here, I wanted to throw up this slide just to make crystal clear about, this is a snapshot of whose IP sits where. Developers retain all developer IP in their modules. And what Google retains is all Google IP in the MDK itself, and to the extent it is used in modules. And believe it or not, this is the next to last slide. Beyond the MDK license, I know other presenters have talked about the planned module marketplace, and those details and those terms are being thought about right now and will be ready soon. But basically, you can think of it as it'll be analogous to the Google Play Store. And that's it. Thanks so much.